Hey, YouTube. Well, I'm here to talk about Queen Sugar, episode 10. All right, so it opens up with Nova is in Vi's restaurant, right? Vi comes over to her, sitting overboard alone. What are you doing here? I don't want you hanging around my restaurant. So they do stop for a moment. Vi expresses again how much this girl has hurt her with her news. Now, there's a major contradiction here I want you guys to pay attention to. Because it's, at some point, Nova's going to be giving someone else advice that the truth will make you free, basically. They're shining the truth on something, shines light to that thing. At the same time, she's criticizing Nova so bad for bringing up her truth. Now, whether she's supposed to bring it up to the whole world, I don't know. But at least they have a couple of words. Nova's actually there to meet Charlie. Okay? Okay, so before that, one thing they do, Nova does confess to, cause Aunt Vi asks her about this permission thing, about why you ask us, could you use our stories like this? And Nova tells her that I was afraid if I asked for permission, you wouldn't let me use it. Which is the truth. And the truth will make you free, honey. Okay, so Micah takes Blue to an amusement park. Give Darla a little time. Darla's going through, of course. Although we're very happy she didn't drink last week. But we'll get back to that. Micah takes him for a day at the amusement park. At some point, Blue wants to go to the restroom. He doesn't want to be treated like a child. He said, I can go by myself. And somehow or other, they lose touch. Micah gets a text message. So his eyes off of him for a moment. And in that moment, he loses Blue. A cop soon finds Blue. Treats him nice. Puts him in the back of a squad car. A cop, I said cop, it could be a amusement park security guard. But it says his car says police. He puts him into the back of a squad car until the parent shows up, right? So when Micah finds him almost immediately, right? He sees him in the back of a police car. He runs up to the car. You know, Micah got this ongoing thing about police after they did him in the early episodes when they put the gun in his mouth, right? So Micah has a real problem with cops. That's why he doesn't like Nova's boyfriend or any other cops. So Micah gets an attitude because the man asked him for ID. And he gets real resistant. He thinks he just hadn't Blue over. The cop puts his hand on his gun. And so they unite. Fortunately, this thing doesn't climax into some great big old thing. But basically, Micah gets freaked out about his cop. But they reunited, right? Micah and Blue. Darla gets a call from her mother. Her mother says, yo, your best friend's in town. So we get to hear a little bit. At first, I didn't quite understand what was going on here. But what we're coming to understand is Darla had moved there to New Orleans area to go to college. She was a college girl, and her best friend, they were both in college together, right? They were at a party. They were starting to get high then. Wait a minute. So the mother tells Darla that the girl is there. Darla is apprehensive right off the top over the phone. Because this is the girl she used to get high with, right? The girl's there in town. Later on, we find out that those two were at a party. This girl remembers some things that Darla hadn't remembered. She remembered being at these college parties. She remembers the person's name. What's his name? Okay. Well, we'll get to his name eventually. But anyway, so the girl was a bystander. She was seeing how high Darla was, and she was practically unconscious. So she might have even been drugged at this point. At this point, she was not yet a prostitute or a full-blown drug addict. They were college girls at a college party. These two guys took her into a bathroom, which she could barely walk, and they raped her. So Darla still have a hard time saying the words rape, but that's when all her trouble began, apparently. So she had Blue before she got into this downward spiral into a serious drug addiction, which is fortunate because he might have been born with birth defects or anything. Okay? So this girl helps her to remember that, but Darla wants nothing else to do with her. Because the girl, all she talks about is getting high. And she's throwing drinks down right then, right? Okay. Charlie meets Nova at the restaurant. I already said that Nova was there at the Pies restaurant. Shorten the name to just Vi's restaurant or Vi's Pies. Anyway, she's there to meet Charlie. Charlie gives her a birthday present because Nova's birthday is next week. And she don't want to make sure that she don't get angry again and then change her mind before her birthday. So not only does she give her a gift, she also invites her on a trip. Right? At first, we don't know what the trip is. Kind of a surprise birthday gift to Nova. But it's actually a retreat. So they go on this nature retreat. I think those things are called yurts or yurts. These big old things. They're similar to tents, but they have a frame. Big, you know. Anyway, this is a professional retreat where people go. They go out and they're going to stay in the same room together and talk some things out. We'll get back to that, right? Nova volunteers to help Charlie on the way to this place because she is a journalist, after all, an investigative journalist. Now, I forgot about that part. Last week, I predicted that her boyfriend, the ex-cop who is now a private investigator, was going to be the one to help. But now I'm adding Nova to the mix because, yes, he is still in that investigative business, and Nova is an investigative reporter. So maybe their careers aren't so different as I didn't put it together that they could actually work together on this thing. And I still think he's going to play a major part in this, though. Right? Because they got to fight this big company now. This big gas company. Okay, so at first it looked like Charlie, I don't know if she was balking or whatever. She's still apprehensive about Nova. They haven't worked things out quite yet. But Nova definitely volunteers to help investigate and find out what's going on, who set this fire. Because Charlie can't get the money for the fire until they can prove the arson wasn't set by herself. Because it's an arson investigation, they won't pay out immediately. They need proof that this was done by this gas company or the Landrys, or the Landrys, right? When they're in this yurt thing, they start talking about and working some things out. One of the things that comes up is not only is Charlie mad about this thing that went on with the book, we forget, or I forgot, there's more to it than that. Because Charlie was already mad with Nova because Nova took up a relationship with Remy. So I forgot all about Mr. Remy. Charlie was going with Remy. They broke up and Nova went immediately with him and got in a relationship, right? Nova said her justification was because they had not slept together yet. But she also says that she should have asked her before she got involved with this man, just like with the book. It's a very similar situation. I didn't want to hear no, so I didn't ask. Right? I guess I can skip ahead. One of their other issues is they recall a trip where Nova went to visit Charlie in Los Angeles, right? Now, Charlie was from a privileged background. You know, her mother was this white woman, a businesswoman. So she had her own friends and so forth in Los Angeles. And Nova felt like she was being treated like a redheaded stepchild. But they didn't really know each other. They were getting to know each other, right? So Charlie was from a fortunate background, privileged background, and Nova was not. She would come to visit her in Los Angeles. Nova said she's overheard some things Charlie talking to the girls saying that you can't choose your family and that she was only a half sister and things, and it hurt Nova's feelings. Charlie saying that her feelings were hurt because Nova seemed to treat her like she was resentful for everything she tried to do for her, and throwing up her house in her face and her privilege, right? And then Nova says she took me to a bunch of places that I couldn't afford. And Charlie says I was treating you. So there's some old resentments they've had, although they've been getting along very well up until this situation with Remy in this book. Okay? Okay. This man name is Jazz, the one who raped this girl, Darla. Right? So now she actually has a name for whose Blue's actual father is. One of two people, because two guys took her into the bathroom for over an hour. So it has to be one of them, but one of them's name was Jazz. She didn't remember him being at the party, but this friend of hers reminded her because she was there as well. All right. All right, this is all too much for Darla, and she walks into a bar and orders herself a shot, and a shot. They show us her seeing her. We're allowed to see her taking 3 shots of some clear liquor. So we don't know how many she took, but she came out, she was drunk. She's very drunk. Vi is in a park doing her morning run, right? Vi sees Darla. Darla is half drunk and half hungover. She's a mess. Now, I said last week I did not want them to let this girl get drunk or high again. I felt like they're gonna throw Darla away for sure now because they've never been all that nice to her. But surprisingly, Vi takes Darla back to her house. They sit, they talk, and Vi is very supportive of this girl. They don't throw her away because she's relapsed now, right? They go back to Darla's house, and Darla starts talking about the situation and what this girl remembered, and that she had no memory of it at all. Vi calls it rape. Now, maybe Darla didn't want to call it that, but Darla was not a prostitute at this time. She was a college student. And these boys had taken her in the bathroom and raped her. Vi then goes on to tell Darla a story. This is her big secret, her big pain, her big issue with this dude, Jimmy Dale. Jimmy Dale apparently used to force her to have sex. She was doing the Miss Seeley bit. That's why she is so afraid and so resentful of this dude, Jimmy Dale. Because he would rape her. She said, no, even though that was my husband, it was still rape. So she helps Darla to understand this. They have intimate time. Eventually, Vi's going to call Ralph Angel. Ralph Angel comes there. He is equally as supportive of Darla. So they're not going to let her just slip off the ledge. I mean, if they were to treat her with some of the nasty ways, not Ralph. Ralph has been okay, but the way the family's been treating her, that could push her out there, and she'd be back out there again. Many times with alcoholics, or drug addicts, the first hit determines it all. After they get high, they might be gone 2 days, and they might be gone 20 years. I myself was gone 17 years after the first hit. Right? So both of them are very supportive of Darla. She also, Vi calls Ralph over to the house, and Ralph goes over there, and Darla tells him the whole story. She didn't know the whole story, see? But he was under the impression that either this was some tricks she had, or she was out partying and she's having sex with all these people, cheating on him and all that. That's how she got pregnant. This is the first time we've heard that she was actually taken advantage of, and could possibly, they didn't say it, but have had a date rape drug in there. That's what they do in colleges, I think. They put something in your drink, you're all out of it. You do whatever you want to do, right? Okay, so they cry together. Ralph cries with her. Let me see. I kind of thought it was kind of cute. They added the scene where this guy who vandalized Vi's restaurant, she's very, very cold to him. Not quite over what he did yet, but she's having a problem with her little iWatch because she wants to go on this run. This is right before she meets Darla. And he helps her, so he has a little smile on his face. So it looks like they're going to add this guy to the cast, a little Latin guy. I thought it was very touching. I liked it. Okay. Was that it? Yeah, that was it. Because Ralph's supposed to be going on a date with his girlfriend. Is it Desha? She calls, and then he ignores her calls. They're supposed to be out meeting to date, and they show him going in there to comfort Darla. They got to hold on to Darla. I like that part. I thought it was gonna be a catastrophe when she drank again. I thought they were going to immediately throw her away again, and she would slip off into this drug-fueled existence. But it didn't happen that way. They seem to be very supportive of her. Maybe this is something that she can get through. Unfortunately, relapse is part of recovery. People don't want to hear that. I didn't want to hear it. I still don't like to hear it, to tell you the truth. But in this current sobriety, I've been clean for 17 years, but there were 2 relapses when I first got clean. Both I was living in the program when I relapsed. So, takes what it takes. They're not cutting Darla out of the script. That's great news. All right, you guys. This is episode 10. I guess we're getting near there. See you next week.